I'm going to do the breakfast tag from Ivetka. I'm kind of now, the kiddies are all gone back to school and everything, and we're sort of back in the work routine. We need to go back to work tomorrow, so I'm sort of more now on the tighter routine of normal term time. So I'm going to do this video while I do the washing up, because I now have to really practice on not getting to bed too late. During the holidays it didn't matter too much if I took quite a long time achieving things, because I had time, but I'm going to have to really watch it. I'm just going to check these. I think they're there. I'm just cooking some cannelloni for tomorrow. I'm doing pretty well. It's only kind of, I think it's only about 10ish. Yeah, it's just literally coming up to 10 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is do this video quickly, and while just got to let that cool ever so slightly while I just turn the oven off as well. And I've just got to box them up ready for tomorrow. Right, that's the preamble started. Okay, breakfasts. I would say I have sort of a couple of different types of breakfast that I have. One type of breakfast I have is an emergency breakfast, in terms of I have run out of time to eat at home. I do not like overnight oats. I do not like a cooked breakfast in the morning. Put that in the wrong place. Have to have everything in the right place, otherwise I've no idea where it is when I come to use it. I also like to have a healthy extra B and at least kind of 5 sins or thereabouts for my breakfast. That allows me to not have to kind of worry if I don't end up having sins for the rest of the day. Sometimes you focus so hard on kind of making the most of free food that you end up just not eating any other sins for the rest of the day, because you become quite capable of not using those sins up. A second, just get this in here. So one of my emergency breakfast I like to do is a 2 pieces of wholemeal bread. There's the 400-gram loaf. Shut them up there. Set up now, could just be here now then. I'll just wash it next load. I'm just doing a little bit of load of washing. We're not going to do everything, but just to give us a bit more space in the morning. If I don't do some every night on this term time, then it just builds up too much. So yeah, I have 2 pieces of bread, wholemeal bread, which is 400-gram loaf. So that you can have 2 of those without the extra B. So I have 2 of those, and I have 15 grams of peanut butter for 4.5 sins, and I'll have banana in that, so it'll be a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I'll wrap that up in tin foil, and I'll put it in a little lunch bag of some sort, and I will also have with that oranges, so like satsuma. Now I've got a bit more into I used to not really like clementines. I used to think they were a bit, but now obviously food streaming world, I think you push yourself more to try new things. So I like now tangerines and clementines and satsumas. So I tend to have a satsuma, and I would also have a pear. I'd like to make sure that the other food I'm eating is speed food, like maybe an apple, Braeburn apple I like the best, so have a nice large Braeburn apple if I've managed to get some of those. And so I would take them then to my work, and then I would also at the same time make myself a decaffeinated coffee with almond milk at work, and then I would sit and have that. Sometimes I would have that first as soon as I got in. Sometimes I would wait until having that kind of mid-morning, depending on how I felt. And the other breakfast, that tends to be on a, say, sometimes by Wednesday life is getting a bit too tricky, and sometimes I just can't quite manage to do everything in the morning on time, so that tends to be that sort of breakfast just in case. Times might change, this time around might be a bit more effective, so it might be less rushed. But then I'll also have a breakfast that I enjoy on a Monday morning, where I don't have to get to work. I can just drop the kids off to school, then I can come back and eat. And that breakfast would be a 2 pieces of bread again, but this time toasted. And I would have, I would use my sins again, so I would have peanut butter on one side. The other reason also why I do the peanut butter thing is just in case I don't manage to use my other healthy extra B on some nuts, that at least gives me some sort of good fats in my diet. The peanut butter I use has no sugar or salt or any oil, so it's pure peanuts, pure roasted peanuts, so it just gives me that tiny bit of nut goodness. Oh, yeah, my alarm just went off then for me to go to bed, so I shall have to piece those 2 pieces together, this piece and the last piece together to make a video. I was just going to say about so I like to make sure I've got my peanut butter in the morning, or some form of good fats first thing in my breakfast. So what I would have then, I would have a piece of toast, I would have peanut butter on it, 4.5 sins, 15 grams. I would have a, and then I would, on the other half, I would have just Marmite, so no butter or anything, just Marmite. And then I would have some speed food involved in there. If I've got some Satsumas, I'll have Satsumas on, I'll either have Satsumas on the peanut butter, and then sometimes I'll have maybe banana on the Marmite one. I make sure I have fruit on both, because otherwise it's just not quite filling enough. Sometimes I'll have apple peanut butter and apple and peanut butter on one piece, and Satsumas and Marmite on the other. But I quite like to, rate depending on what fruit I've got. I tend to normally have Satsumas or easy peelers, apples, bananas, just because they're the cheapest fruit. I have some pears often as well, just because they're a good handy speed food that's quite edible when it's a bit rock hard, but it's also edible as it gets softer and softer, so it's got like a bit more of a shelf life with pears. I just have conference pears, I find them the tastiest. Right, I'm going to leave that into soak temporarily because he's no good anymore to me, because I've done that much and he needs to soak in. So I'm going to move you over here now and just put the cannelloni in the, just got a couple of, keep them here. This is our going to work boxes, which will allow us to microwave it at lunchtime. So I'm just going to get these out so I can prep this up. These. So yeah, and then also with that I would have a decaffeinated coffee with almond milk, usually 2 decaffeinated coffees, one after the other, to try and show you this may as well while we're here. So that's the cannelloni. Back to old school times really, because that's what we make every Monday, ready for Tuesday. We used to, my partner, the shop used to be open on a Monday, but now it's not. My partner used to eat this when he came home from work, but now he's not. Now it doesn't happen like that. I've got time to make the chilli as well, and then we'll just eat this tomorrow. If there's leftovers of this cannelloni, I will put it in my little bowl, like a little Tupperware thing that's got a lid, that then I can, I've got the lid somewhere. Yeah, there it is. There's my lid. And I just keep this as a, I like to keep this, and I've got another one as well, a red one, that I just keep topped up with little scraps. So anything I make leftovers wise, if it's free or if it's speed food, then I just basically dump it in here. Then I've always got like an instant kind of bowl of something that I can just warm up in an emergency situation, so that I don't end up getting myself unnecessarily hungry and then end up not having anything to eat. So let's leave it there to drain. Right, okay, so I've got the I'm going to get this out. So yeah, then so that's the type of meal I like to eat when I've got a bit more time, because it's just a nice, it's a different thing to do. It allows you to sit and just enjoy your food for a little bit. I mean, it's on a Monday morning, so there's no kids about. It's just nice to sit down and just actually enjoy what you're eating, instead of kind of feeling rushed and worried and such, and kind of pressured to get other people food. So I do enjoy that very much on a Monday morning. Generally on a Saturday I'll end up just having a piece of fruit first thing. It's tricky, I find it tricky to eat around the children, in terms of sitting down and actually concentrate on eating, so sometimes I'll do that, you know, I'll eat properly later. Okay, so the other breakfast that I have, which I haven't had for a while, and I don't know why, but it's a very it's my porridge that I would have. I think I enjoy the toast so much that I've ended up not eating the porridge as much, but it's the porridge, I know why. The porridge is a challenge because I know you don't have to have speed food with every meal, in terms of like if you've got sort of, you don't have to have speed food with every meal. You are allowed to kind of, if you're having some healthy extras, for example, you're allowed to just have your healthy extra. You don't have to have speed food with it, but I like to have speed food with everything. I think it sets me up properly. It saves me thinking, oh, do I need speed food? I just know that every single time I eat, I have speed food. Sometimes I mostly snack on speed fruits, but sometimes I'll have a banana. So for example, you know, when you're really hungry, an apple isn't going to quite do it, then I'll have a banana and an apple, because otherwise, you know, I need to kind of, sometimes you just need that extra energy, and bananas are really useful just to fill in you right up. And occasionally I will have my sins without, kind of, sometimes I have these bars, these goodness bars, and sometimes I don't have a, this is Go Ahead goodness bar, sometimes I don't have a speed food with that, but most of the time I try and have speed food with everything, so I'll have a satsuma as well as one of those or something like that, just to top me up. But I have porridge, which is oats, 40 grams of oats. I'll have, I'll just grab this out of the cupboard actually to show you. I'll have 40 grams of oats. I'll have 2.5 sins. I haven't had it for a while now. Sins. Grams. I can't remember now. It's been a long enough time, hasn't it? I would have sultanas, and I would have this seed topping. I think it was 5 grams of this. I would have 5 grams of this for 1.5 sins, and I would have 15 grams of sultanas for 2.5 sins. So in all it would be 4 sins, and that allows me to have my sins in my morning part, and it gives me good healthy fats, which, because this has got linseed in, sesame seeds, linseeds and sesame seeds, so it's a good alternative to kind of just the peanut butter all the time. That allows me to have a kind of a varied diet. So I think that's what it was. because it was basically I'll put 40 grams in and then I would top it up to 60. 15 grams sultanas, 5 grams of this, 1.5 sins for here, 2.5 sins for the sultanas. I think that's what it was. And then on top of that I would put cinnamon, I would put nutmeg, I would put cinnamon, I would put ground ginger, and I would also put a tiny touch of ground mixed spice, because the ground mixed spice has got a few more flavours in, but then I can kind of balance it out with the cinnamon, ginger and the nutmeg. That was a really lovely meal. I used to challenge in terms of, I used to chop up an apple into it to obviously to produce the speed food, but that always used to be a challenge because it wasn't overly nice, kind of crunchy inside, and you kind of want to heat it up, and then obviously if you're heating up your apple then you're getting into a position where you're encountering needing to either thin it or healthy extra it, because you're warming fruit through. So I think I will probably the blueberries. The blueberries have just become a speed food, haven't they? So therefore I could have porridge with blueberries in it, and I do love porridge with blueberries in, very much so. I used to have them all the time. I used to have frozen blueberries all the time, and so that would be a really good thing, because you could probably still have frozen blueberries and then all you're doing is just defrosting, because you're supposed to just let them defrost in the fridge, aren't you? But if I put them in the microwave and they're frozen, then I'm defrosting them in the microwave. So I think that will be a really, really good idea. So yeah, that's my plan for future. So have my blueberries and my porridge. Okay, so I should probably carry on now. I'm going to put this back in here and put my get the chips out to put in there. Dump that away. I just think it's something to do with that. Let's dump that up. So I've just got some on these chips here. I've got some garlic powder, oregano, paprika, salt. I think that's it, and some fry light. So they're just going to go in with my cannelloni there, ready to have tomorrow. It's quite exciting to have food back. I hadn't been doing any cooking for quite a little while because it's over the Christmas holidays and such. Well, obviously been doing cooking, been eating, but like this kind of batch cookie type thing where you like magically got food the next day, which is always really nice to magically have food the next day. So I will just piece those two bits together, and I will try and, I've also got my weigh-in on Wednesday, and I will try and I'll obviously video you for weigh-in, but it might take me a little while just to get back into the swing of things with all the extra pressure of everything, to get everything done on time. So bear with me while I get back into the whole swing of term time and work, while I try and produce more videos, because it's a great way for me to keep connected to everyone and a really great way to keep me on plan. Right, I'll see you on Wednesday for weigh-in. Bye. Hi, yeah, it's just the next day. I just dropped the kids off to school. I totally forgot to say actually how I made my porridge. I put 40 grams of oats in a bowl. I add the seed mix and the sultanas. I then add all of the spices. I then put almond milk over the top until the porridge is covered, and then so that it's got a little bit of movement in, like a sort of a bowl of cereals type of amount of milk. And then I put it in the microwave for 1 minute. I bring it out, give it a little stir, and put it back in again for another minute. Bring it out, give it a little stir. If it needs a tiny bit more, I put it in for another little bit. If it's nice and stodgy, I then top it back up with almond milk so that it's not too hot to eat, but it's warm, so that the extra almond milk then just cools it down enough to eat. And I'm just going to nip to the shops now just before I go start work, to go and grab some things for my son, but I think also I might grab some blueberries because there's feed food now. Alright then, see you later, bye.